Hi there, welcome to Jujubee DIY. I'm Sarah. Thanks so much for stopping by. Today I'm kicking off the fall season with 5 brand new crafts. So if you want to see what I made, stay tuned. Okay guys, so for our first craft, we're going to take one of these Dollar Tree pumpkin signs. I'm just going to take all the embellishments off and take the sticker off the back. Then I used some scrapbook paper that I had on hand. It was a pack that I got from Michael's last fall, but they always have new fall books that they carry. They're 12 by 12 stacks. And I just cut 5 different designs into 2 by 2 inch squares. And I'm just going to attach these onto my pumpkin using a little bit of a glue stick here. And I'll just place those down. And the nice thing about these paper pads is that you can pretty much, like, all the papers are coordinating, so you can pretty much just pick and choose the ones you like and they'll all go together really nicely. So for this second row, I'm going to offset them a little bit so that it's kind of in the middle of 2. And I'm going to continue that until the whole entire pumpkin is covered. Then to finish off the edges, I'll just take some sandpaper and in a downward motion, I will just sand off those edges. And then I'm giving this a nice thick coat of Mod Podge in the satin finish. So I wanted to create some decoration for the top of my pumpkin. I am taking 2 strands, or 2 different colors of this Raffia from the Dollar Tree that was out earlier in the season. It's orange and green. And then I'm taking some of these wheat picks that I picked up also from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to cut off 4 of the little wheat picks, and then I'll add in some little sunflowers. And I'll just attach those all together with some twine just to kind of make a swag. And there you can see I've got a little helper there to help me pull that string. And I'll just wrap that around and hot glue it in the back. So with that raffia, I just took a few strands of each color and then I added some twine in there and made just a basic bow. And I'll attach that here in just a few minutes as well. Oh, here's a little trick for you. Like these little grass strands that are kind of just willy-nilly hanging out, if you pull them in between your fingernail and your first finger, your thumbnail and your first finger, I don't know what to say, but you can kind of pull it and it'll make them curled, and it makes it a lot cuter, I think. But you could leave them straight if you wanted to. So I'll just attach that right to the top there with some hot glue. And attach the bow right on top of that. And then I found this wired beaded garland. This was, I think, from Christmas last year, and it's the gold color, but I thought it would look really nice with the color schemes that I have going on here. So I am just taking some, wrapping it around a pencil just to make a cute little curly Q, and then I will just hot glue that right at the top as well. I wish they carried this beaded garland year-round, but my Dollar Trees don't. You'll have to leave a comment in the comment section if you can find this kind of beaded garland year-round. So next I took one of these harvest signs. These are like the galvanized metal signs that you can get at the Dollar Tree. And I gave it like 3 coats of, I think it's called Café Noir chalk paint. It's the new Hello Hobby paint from Walmart. I had some on hand and that's what I used. And it covered really nicely. So, and then I'll just attach this with a little bit of super glue and that will complete this project. I did also create a hanger for the back of it, but I didn't show you that. And this is how it turned out. I think this is just so cute. I love the quilted look of this. For our next DIY, we're going to take one of these little shadow boxes, and this is the paper pad that I used in my previous project. I'm going to take one of these 6x6 square cut aparts, and I'll cut that out. And then this little box, I'm going to take off the front. I was kind of hoping that I could take that middle part out, but it was sandwiched in between the frame and there was no way to take it out. So, you know, I just cut that square down because it needed to be smaller than the 6x6 size. So I just cut it to the size I needed by measuring the inside of my box. And then I'm just using my Waverly Art Precision Craft Glue to glue this down. You could use any kind of glue you'd like. And I'll just place that right into my box here. So if you're new here, I'm Sarah. Thanks for stopping by. I like to do budget DIYs and home decor in a cottagecore / farmhouse theme. So if that sounds good to you, please make sure you hit that subscribe button before you leave today and hit the thumbs up button. Let me know that you like my content and that you are really enjoying what you are seeing. I really would appreciate it so much. So we're going to take the little block that was already on the piece before, and we're just going to glue that back on. And then I'm taking one of these new little pumpkin and burlap printed, well, there's the buffalo check and burlap printed pumpkin. And I'm just gonna hot glue that right onto my little block. That's what it is. Then I made a basic little bow using the orange sheer ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I'll just hot glue that right into the front there. And I still thought it was missing a little something, so I got into my stash and I pulled out my rub-on transfers, and I found this word gather. So I thought that that would be perfect in that little space there at the bottom. And I'll just rub that down and remove the backer. And here is a look at how this turned out. I think it is simple but super cute. I love the little pumpkins in the corner, and just it feels so fall to me. So for this DIY, we're going to take one of these little piggy banks, or like bank boxes or whatever, and we're just going to pull out the backing. And I'm going to take a razor blade and I'm going to take the words off using a razor blade. I've seen people use like, you know, rubbing alcohol or other methods to remove that paint, but I like just using the blade. So I could give it a coat of the Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, just to cover up all that gold. And then I'm going to go in with the Nantucket blue and just do the outside edges. I want the inside to be black still. So I'm going to take one of these pumpkins. These are the little tiny mini pumpkins. Also new from the Dollar Tree this year, but they're a little janky, if we're being honest, I think. So I wanted to make it a little more, look less like a little ball with a stem and more like a pumpkin. So I'm just going to take my thread and a needle, and I'm going to poke my needle right through the middle of the pumpkin, pulling it out there in the middle. And then I'm going to create the little pumpkin segments with my needle and thread here. So I'm just going to pull it all the way around to create that first segment. And then I will come back and create this second, like kind of a cross through the middle of the pumpkin there to create that second set of segments. And then I'll poke my needle through, and I'll keep doing that until I've got, you know, probably 8 segments, I think is what I ended up with. And I think that by doing this, it makes the little pumpkins look more like pumpkins. I don't know. I think they're cute. They are cute the way they are, but I think that they just could use a little improvement. So that's what I did to kind of improve them and make them look a little more high end. So then the stems were a little long for me too. So I cut off the top part of the stem, and they're hollow, so you have to fill it with a little bit of glue, but I just used some hot glue to fill in the top. And then I gave them all a coat of gold paint. This is the brushed metal paint by Folk Art. So then for my backing, I just took some of this scrapbook paper I had in my stash. It's just kind of a shiplap wood themed paper. I cut it down to size, and then I'm just using my glue stick to glue it to the back portion there. Now you'll see here in just a second what I'm doing. I wanted to add a little decoration around the outside edge of my box here. So I'm just taking a little bit of this white jute twine from Walmart. I get this at Walmart for about $1.50. And I'm just gonna glue that all the way around the frame there. And then I needed to cover the bottom where the little piggy bank part was. So I took another piece of that same paper that I used for the backing and cut it down and just glued it to the inside there. Next, I got onto my Cricut design space and I made this little decal that says, "Oh, hello, pumpkin." I thought that was cute. I like the O in front of it. And I'm just gonna rub that down and put it onto the glass there in the upper corner. And then I'm just gonna put these little pumpkins in there. They kind of were a little bit big, but I'm just gonna squish them in there and make it work. So make sure you get your backing in the proper way. I had it backwards. That wouldn't have looked cute. So I'm just gonna push that in there, and then I'm gonna put the backing in there. And like I said, you kind of have to squish it a little bit, but it wasn't too hard at all. And then I felt like it was a little plain, so I wanted to create a little decoration for the corner here. So I'm taking some lamb's ear from Walmart, and I just cut down a few pieces, and I'm just gonna hot glue it in kind of a triangle fashion here. And then I just cut it down however I need it, just whatever I need it to do. I just cut it and then glue and place wherever I really want it to go. So, and then using some of these, I don't know what they're called, wildflowers, or I'm not sure. They came from the Dollar Tree. They're really cute. I think they're like new this year, but I love the delicate little flowers on them. And I was able to find the yellow and I think red. So they're really cute, but I use the yellow here. And again, I'm just hot gluing it down where I want it to lay. So if it's not laying where you want it to, just use a little hot glue and place it where you want it to. And here's a look at how this one turned out. I love this one. I love the little saying on it. I think it's so cute. So for this one, we are going to take one of these tag signs from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to put some paper on it. It's pretty easy, just using a glue stick. I really like the Gorilla Glue stick. So far I've had really good luck with my project staying with this glue stick. So I'll just press that down really well, making sure that that is attached nicely. Next, I'm going to take some of this antique white paint from Apple Barrel, and I'm going to paint these pumpkins. And then I found some crackle medium that I had in my stash. So I put the crackle medium on. It is a one-step crackle, and I think that that's like what it's supposed to do here is just crackle your first layer, which is okay, but I thought, I wonder what happened if I put paint over the top of the crackle. And so I painted this one with the spiced carrot from Apple Barrel, and it didn't really do much. It was okay. You can still see the crackle through, but I kind of like the way that this one looked with the antique wax over the top of it. So I just used a baby wipe and rubbed that antique wax, and it kind of went into those little crackled areas, and I like how this turned out. I do need to get just a regular crackle medium that will crackle it, you know, like how I like, which is like crackling the top layer so that the bottom layer will show. Anyhow, besides the point, I'm just using some brown paint, and I'm using a dry brush just to create some of those little pumpkin elements onto these pumpkins, making it look a little more 3D than just a flat plain pumpkin. So did that to both of the pumpkins. And then I've got some of these beads. These are actually the beads that you can find at the Dollar Tree. Some people are finding them. I was sent this pack from my wonderful friend, Theresa B, Theresa B DIY. I'll leave her channel linked down below so you can go check her out. But she sent me some really fun goodies, and those beads were one of them. Next, I'm going to take some of the oxide ink in the color I don't know, I'll leave it in the description box down below. Vintage Photo, I think, is which one it is. So I just went around the edges just to kind of make it look a little more aged. And then I'm going to poke my hole for the top here. And I'll use a little bit of sandpaper. If you just use a little bit of sandpaper, just kind of roll it up, you can do the same kind of sanding technique in those holes, and it creates a really nice finish. So I have a new Facebook page. My friend Lisa at Our Gray House and I have created a Facebook page. So I will link that in my description box down below if you are interested in coming over, share your projects, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. So I will leave that in the description box down below as well. So now I'm just going to use some of this white twine from the not the Dollar Tree. This is from Walmart. And I'm just going to put it through my pumpkin, and then I'm going to put 3 beads on this one and 2 beads on the other one. And you can see I'm just putting it on just like that. So I want to thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel, who's supported my channel, who's commented, liked, and given me such wonderful feedback. I appreciate you guys so very much. You mean the world to me, and you make my day so very often. So thank you so much. All right, so we're going to create a bow here with some of this orange burlap from the Dollar Tree. And this is just kind of a basic bow. You just make like a, what do they say, the awareness ribbon, pinch the middle, and then tie it off, and that's all that is. So it was pretty easy. And then I'll just hot glue that on, and then I wanted my pumpkins to fall a certain way, so I am gluing them down. And you can see that I added the words "Hello Fall" to the front of those pumpkins, and that's just using the Dollar Tree rub-on transfers there. And here is a look at how that turned out. I think this is adorable, and it'll be perfect for a little shelf. So for our final DIY today, I'm going to take one of these palette wood pumpkins. I love these. I think these are so cute, and I gave it a coat of the Nantucket blue from Folk Arts. And then using one of these round sponges that you can get at the Dollar Tree. I think it's like a 3-pack in the Crafter's Square section. I'm going to take that antique white paint from Apple Barrel and I'm going to create some little polka dots on my pumpkin. And then adding a little bit of burnt umber into that white, antique white. I'm going to create kind of a, I don't know what you call this. It's a brown color to create the stem for my pumpkin. So I'll paint that on just using a paintbrush. And then I'll go in with the darker bits of brown and just kind of create some little striations just to make it look like a stem. So the paint is all still wet and it's just kind of blending together and making those cute little pumpkin stem, making a pumpkin stem, I guess. And then I'm going to take that same brown that I created with the stem and I'm just going to create some little swirls inside those polka dots. So a tip for the polka dots is when you press down your sponge, push it down just slightly and then spin it. So if you just stamp it down, you're going to get kind of not a real good impression of the sponge, but you can spin it and it'll be a perfect circle. So there's a little tip for you. And we're just going to keep swirling around. I thought the swirls were a cute little touch, something different. And then using the end of a paintbrush, I'm just going to create some little tiny polka dots with that antique white. I almost said antique wax. You can tell right there, couldn't you? Next, I'm going to take the same hanger that was on there before and I'm just going to put some of these beads. They were the perfect color, so I just kept them neutral or natural. And then I'll just put that right back into my little pumpkin and that is all she wrote, guys. Look at how cute this turned out. I love this one so much. And here's a look at all the projects together. I hope that you have a favorite from today. If you do, drop it down in the comments section. Let me know what was your favorite. I, again, appreciate you guys so much for stopping by and sharing part of your day with me. It makes my heart very happy. I hope that you all have a happy, healthy, and blessed day, and I will catch you next time. Bye!